Back in July, Team UAE Emirates went to battle at the Tour de France, but with one very big technological difference. They were riding what Colnago was calling at the time the Prototipo. A source at Colnago also confirmed that 5 different versions of the Prototipo were being tested, each with a different carbon layup. Clearly, given the name and the fact that Tadej Pogačar rode the V4Rs to victory in the 2020 and 2021 editions of the race, it was fair to assume that the Prototipo was most likely the upcoming V4Rs. Today, Colnago confirmed that by launching that very bike. The outgoing V4Rs has certainly created some rather large boots to fill after being piloted to some of the biggest victories in the sport. However, the question still stands: what has the V4Rs got up its sleeve to ensure the wins keep on coming? Well, given the fact that the Prototipo managed to rack up 23 victories and 28 podiums in 4 months of use, we think whatever has been created, well, it seems to be gelling with the riders pretty well. Clearly, as the V-Series is Colnago's dedicated race performance bike, improving the offering's aero credentials was very important. Colnago has tried to achieve this with a multitude of new improvements. These start with a brand new fork which Colnago has tried to integrate seamlessly with the new head tube. This head tube is bigger than the one found on the V4Rs, but this has meant they could maintain a circular steerer rather than opting for a D-shaped steerer, and thus meaning it could route the hoses through a larger upper headset bearing. That's not all for improvements at the front end though. Colnago also created a new integrated cockpit to shelter all the hoses from the wind. You may also notice that the bottom of the bars are ever so slightly flared. I can only imagine that this is for control when descending in the drops. To ensure all the hard work of making sure the front end is as slippery as possible, Colnago have also created their own 3D printed head unit mount. So far, it's only compatible with the new Wahoo Bolt V2, but I'm led to believe that new head units will eventually be compatible too. And it's a good thing that they did create such a mount, because it saves a grand total of 0.75 watts at 50 kilometers an hour. Brilliant. It must be said, all the wind tunnel testing Colnago conducted on the bike was done so at 50 kilometers an hour, much like the Bianchi Ultra RC. I do wonder if manufacturers are having to test at these higher speeds to extrapolate a bigger difference in wattage savings. Are the days of testing at a more reasonable 40 kilometers an hour gone forever? Of course, for the pros who do reach these speeds with ease and amateurs who happily hit that on descents, then I guess the testing data is still of value to some extent. But since this bike has seen the inside of a wind tunnel, what are the hard numbers? Well, since so much work was done to create a brand new cockpit for the V4Rs, let's start there. The new cockpit is claimed to have a reduced drag surface of 16% compared to cockpits mounted on the V4Rs. Overall, Colnago claimed that the V4 is faster than the outgoing V3. Now, you might be expecting Colnago to make a weight-saving claim on the new model, and you'd be absolutely right. However, don't get too excited, because I did have to read between the lines to get the full picture here. The claim weight saving is 57 grams, not a lot by any means. The frame itself is actually ever so slightly heavier, but the new fork shaves off 15 grams. In all, when you compare the frame and fork of the V3 to the V4, there's actually only a 12 gram saving. You have to look at the total frame module, which includes the headset, handlebars, and stem to get the full saving. When you consider that this is comparing an all-in-one integrated bar from the V4 with a separate, more conventional bar and stem system found on the V3, the weight saving isn't too impressive and isn't anything to write home about. However, for a bike designed to go fast everywhere, weight really isn't a key priority, and just to be keeping very much in the same ballpark, well, it's great for a bike that was already pretty light. Of course, don't forget the 6.8 kilo weight limit that the UCI imposes on race bikes, and that will always mean that big drops in weight for a bike like this just aren't practical. Colnago claims to have increased stiffness by 4% when sprinting and 5% when seated. They say they've identified areas which experience differing forces in different riding positions, and then have gone about laying the carbon up to counteract those forces to ensure all the power goes down to the tarmac. Colnago's machines and methodologies of testing stiffness are actually patent pending, so they weren't able to share too much more information here. However, I'm sure when we get our hands on the bike, hopefully, we'll be able to feel the increase in stiffness. The last area Colnago has said they've put time and effort into is actually the robustness of the frame. Now, I for one am very happy to hear that a big brand like Colnago is actively trying to make their top-end offering more robust and resilient to knocks and bumps. For example, the new seat stays improve on their flexural and stability impact, which goes on to helping other components that are found in the frame, such as the headset. Now, speaking of the headset, they've actually included a ceramic speed headset, but it's very much unlike your normal headset because it's made of a unique solid polymer and it's got stainless steel components inside. It does mean that it doesn't need re-greasing, much like your normal sealed cartridge bearing. And while it may occasionally feel stiff after a duration of not being used, when you get it moving again, it'll feel buttery smooth. I'm also told that the lifespan of these headsets is incredibly long. On to price, and I don't think that it's going to be a huge surprise that the latest offering from the Italian brand is punchy. It's very punchy. At the time of filming this, I've only got the price in euros. So for the V4Rs Team Edition, equipped with a full Dura-Race group set, with the power meter, with a set of NV 3.4 wheels, and that new Colnago integrated cockpit, well, it's going to come in at 15,260 euros. Now, if you want to buy the frame set, which includes the frame, the fork, the seat post, and the headset, well, that comes in at 5,250 euros. To put that frame set price into context though, it does land itself right in the middle of what an S-Works Tarmac SL7 or Pinarello Dogma F frame set would cost. Overall, to my eye, the V4RS represents another step in the right direction. They're taking the proven performance of the V3RS and have gone about making it more responsive and better to ride on a wider variety of surfaces. And this is only furthered when you consider that the new bike can accommodate 32C wide tyres up from the V3RS's 28C. Now, when you pair that with a bike which is claimed to be even more slippery in the wind, I'm sure we'll be seeing this bike piloted to many more victories over the next couple of years. My colleague and resident Colnago aficionado, Simon Smythe, is actually currently out in Spain riding the bike, so we should hear very soon what he has to make of it. Be sure to tune in to January's Tech of the Month, where we'll have his first ride impressions. What are your thoughts on this new bike though? Sure, it's incredibly expensive and designed for the pros, but would you choose this over and above a Pinarello Dogma F or a specialised Tarmac SL7? Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, then please do drop it a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, and I'll see you again very soon.